This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello, I'm Sarah Donchie in for Juliette. Across the country and even here in California, debate over LGBTQ rights has been intensifying. And while the future is uncertain, one group of LGBTQ veterans is still fighting against injustices of the past. They're among tens of thousands who were kicked out of the military because of their sexual orientation. And now they're suing the Pentagon. Our Ann Makovic heard from one of these plaintiffs who is from the Bay Area. She is here now with their story. Ann?
Yeah, you know, the old policy, don't ask, don't tell, that was repealed back in 2010. But those who were discharged under past discriminatory policies are still carrying those less than honorable discharges, today denying them the full spectrum of benefits, including VA loans, health care, housing, and some jobs.
This class action federal civil rights lawsuit was filed on behalf of 5 veterans who claim the Pentagon's failure to correct this ongoing discrimination is a violation of constitutional rights.
We come from a very proud family of heroes, and I wanted to be a hero too.
Joining the Navy was something veteran Lily Stephanides, who now identifies as non-binary, always knew they wanted to do.
When I was a little kid and I was in Cub Scouts, I loved having a uniform on, and I loved the flag, and I loved all the things that, you know, are all the telltale signs that somebody's going to grow up and join the military.
Lily joined the Navy in 1988. At 19 years old, they were stationed on the USS Abraham Lincoln in Virginia.
When I first got there, you know, people kind of knew that I was an LGBTQ person. It was just not spoken about, which is kind of the old way that things were done in the Navy, was you just don't talk about it.
Until they were flagged.
We had just commissioned the ship, and we were getting ready to go on a world tour, and there was a shakedown, and they wanted to get all the people out of the crew that were undesirable. So that would have included me.
1 year after joining the service, Lily was discharged with other than honorable status. Their military papers, known as DD-214, identifying them as homosexual after finding magazines in their locker advertising gay clubs.
I had somebody from above me in the chain of command telling me that I'm not worthy. And that didn't make any sense to me, because I know I am.
CBS News has found at least 35,000 vets were kicked out of the service due to their sexuality, but less than 1,400 have had their discharges changed.
Every time they have to show that document, they are essentially outed involuntarily. So even if they just keep their private lives to themselves, they don't have a choice when they're asked for their DD-214 in order to access so many different opportunities that veterans receive. I mean, imagine if it was on your driver's license. It's ridiculous.
The suit calls the existing process of trying to change a vet's DD-214 inadequate, opaque, and forces veterans to relive the trauma of their discharge, carrying the burden of proving discrimination to the very institution that discriminated against them. Former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta oversaw the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011. He says at the time, there wasn't a lot of thought about those who had already been discharged. In an interview last February, he said it's time to change that.
I really feel that in order to be true to what we tried to do by getting rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that it's not just about the future, it's also about making sure that we correct the past.
The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court here in Northern California. It is not seeking monetary damages. Instead, it asks the Defense Department to systematically upgrade these veterans' discharge papers and remove all indicators of sexual orientation instead of placing the burden on the veteran to apply themselves.
In my mind, the American military is capable of extraordinary things. And we're talking here about changing a single piece of paper.
For Lily, it is much more than that.
There's a hole inside of me that is still not filled, because it's a place where I left close to my heart for my country.
Lily believes their country will eventually come through and leave no service member behind.
Well, a Pentagon spokesperson says the department does not comment on pending litigation, but in an earlier statement stood by its existing discharge upgrade process, saying that review boards continue to strive to finalize 90% of all cases within 10 months. Sarah.
And thank you so much for that report. We genuinely appreciate that. Now to San Francisco, a piece of LGBTQ history that shut down during the pandemic is set to reopen at a new location. The owners of the Stud announcing they signed a brand new lease on Folsom Street, only about 3 blocks from the original location. The Stud was San Francisco's oldest gay bar. The owners are still raising some money to renovate the new location and hope to reopen by the end of winter. Unions are flexing their muscles this Labor Day. Thousands of healthcare workers rallied in Oakland as part of a statewide day of action. The unions are currently negotiating contracts with Kaiser and Prime Health. The workers say they are sounding the alarm on problems with patient care because they are so understaffed.
Right now we're having a staffing issue where a lot of people are not getting the care that they're needed. The wait rooms in our ERs are anywhere from 6 hours to 12 hours just to see the doctor. The morale for our healthcare heroes, as we were once being called, is very low. And the reason why it's low is because we're being ignored. Our request for extra care to give to our patients is being ignored, or in the form of staff is being ignored. We're not really being respected.
In a statement, Kaiser told us that it's already taken extraordinary steps to support workers and their families. The company also says it hired more than 29,000 new employees in 2022 and will hire even more than that this year, despite industry-wide staffing challenges. We have so far not heard back from Prime. And things turned tense down in Hollywood, where 23 healthcare workers were actually arrested after staging a sit-in outside a Kaiser hospital. Police declared it an unlawful assembly. The protesters were cited for civil disobedience and released. And in San Francisco, a Labor Day protest over Robotaxi safety. People rallied outside the San Francisco headquarters of the driverless car company Cruise.
We are not against tech. We're against tech that benefits the few at the expense of the many.
The protest comes on the heels of the latest Robotaxi controversy. Reports that 2 Cruise cars blocked an ambulance in San Francisco, delaying the trip. The patient in that ambulance died soon after arriving at the hospital. Now, Cruise disputes that claim, saying the ambulance had a clear path to pass.
So the rollout was extremely premature. There's no impact studies done on society. What's going to happen as far as safety? We're already seeing that in the news.
So demonstrators had a lot of concerns, and they basically say that this amounts to the privatization of public transportation and that there are issues that haven't been addressed, like liability. And a kind of interesting moment to point out there. At one point, music was blaring from inside Cruise headquarters, and it was drowning out the protesters. The music did eventually stop after organizers talked with Cruise security. An estimated 320,000 American workers have taken part in some kind of strike this year, and it looks like hot labor summer is not slowing down anytime soon. Hollywood writers are now in their 5th month of their strike. In July, they were joined by members of the Screen Actors Guild, and soon voice actors for video games could be joining the picket lines too. Last week, 26,000 American Airlines flight attendants voted to authorize a strike if a new deal with the airline is not reached, and more than 400,000 auto workers are also threatening to walk off the job in the next 2 weeks. Now we turn to Oakland, where an innocent bystander is in critical condition after a shooting near Lake Merritt. This happened before 12:30 on Madison Street. Police think it was some kind of rolling gun battle between 2 cars, and a woman got caught in the crossfire of that. Someone who lives nearby said this is the first time he's seen something happen like this on his street.
I was talking to someone just now and saying this is not indicative of our neighborhood. Things happen, caca occurs, but no, this is normally a very quiet neighborhood.
So far, no arrests have been made. A smoother ride ahead for drivers in Contra Costa County. The big update from Caltrans tonight about the Carquinez Bridge shutdown. And the Burning Man exodus finally underway after thousands of people were trapped. We'll show you how some celebrity burners managed to escape early.
The
fog is still confined to the coast for now. It's going to spread across the bay later on tonight. Temperatures for this Labor Day holiday, very comfortable for early September. 60s, 70s, and 80s. No 90s on the mount. Compare that to a year ago. Temperatures are going to climb a bit as we head through the rest of this week. Details coming up in the First Alert forecast.